So day of treatment is really important. I hear horror stories and maybe you're like, oh, that happens, that doesn't happen, I don't know. And I'm always fascinated, but just think about your own experience. One of the gifts that I always say, Melissa, my sister and I had before we opened Bodify is we took off our entrepreneur hat and we put on our consumer hat and we said, if I were going to do full sculpting, what type of experience would I want to have? What type of questions would I have? What type of fears or objections would I have? And that is really what we were able to pull from so that we could get some of our unique differentiators. For example, people aren't afraid to spend money on dental work or hair transplants or fat loss or weight loss or skin tightening or teeth brightening. They're afraid to spend money and not get the result. And so that's why we offer that guarantee, right? And so I just think if we, again, take off our entrepreneur or our front office or our office manager or our technician hat and say, okay, what's going to be the best client experience? And then how do we make a process and a system around this so that it's always done, it's always consistent, and no one's just sitting there like, I don't know what to do. So I think one of the most important things we need to do is if we know someone's using Cherry before their appointment, when we do that reminder call, that reminder email, that reminder text, we need to remind them that their first payment is going to be due the day that they come in. Why? Because you don't want someone to show up and be like, I don't have my debit card. I didn't know that. I don't have the first $600 payment, right? So you're gonna have that conversation when they're applying, when they're approved, during the consultation, when they're filling out their paperwork to move forward, but also in the reminder call, because we all know it is so disruptive to our practice. If someone walks in and we have them booked for multiple hours and they're like, I can't do that today. So be open, be transparent, and be communicative. But I would also highly suggest, and I know some practices feel differently about this, but when someone comes into Bodify and they're about to do cool sculpting, we always say, hey, we're going to take care of that investment up front. So that way, when we're done, you can just get out of here and get on with your day, right? I want to collect that money before, and this is with all forms of payment, but particularly with Cherry, right? I don't want there to be a problem. I don't want to have to call Jordan or customer service in a panic because it's 6:30 p.m. and my client's about to leave. And for some reason, there was a snafu. I want to be able to deal with that up front. If there's any issues, we can address them head on. We'll prevent any upset, a client doing their treatment and walking out and be like, I didn't think it was $4,000 and that I was going to go, oh, $600 today. You just want to minimize those things because inevitably, if you don't get paid, you don't have a business, you don't have clients, and you don't have staff. So obviously protect yourself and take care of yourself.